God. Then we moved into March. Now I know some other things happened in between there, but and I know it probably started earlier in that, but March, April, and May, June, July, and going into
Yeah.
September, we were inundated with Kendrick and Drake and that particular beef. Uh, I got the little bullet points up here. You can go down which ones you wanted to talk with. These were the things that stood out in my mind. But the battle was the battle. In my opinion, Kendrick, uh, double, tripled, quadrupled entendre down on Drake on that in that battle. But one thing that I do that I'm going to come back and I came back because one of the reasons why I wanted you to be up here is because I went back and I looked at J. Cole. And I listened to a lot of people, and I would say you were right. That flip flopping and all of that other stuff, J. Cole cannot come out. Though I thought he was smart simply because I thought he knew that he couldn't battle. He couldn't go toe to toe with Kendrick. But to put your foot in there when you really started this whole kit caboodle with the big three, I think you can never come out talking about you the best rapper, your battle. I don't think that you can do any of that. And one of the things about J. Cole, after I was thinking about it, him and Drake are to me seem like two peas in the pod, but J. Cole wants to make it seem like he is I think J. Cole is more of himself than he is quote unquote for the culture. I hope I'm explaining that right. He gives me more self-centered and self-grandizing. I
Are
am,
you talking Drake?
I'm talking J. Cole.
Oh, J. Cole. Okay, okay.
I'm talking J. Cole. J. Cole, there is a podcaster, what's her name? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was
Yes.
just listening to her.
She described J. Cole so, and I was just like, that's J. Cole. So that's the credit I'm going to give her because she did describe him. She said J. Cole is like that Negro in jail that does poetry and stuff, and that he writes really, really good poetry. And I mean, you'd be enthralled with what he does until you meet him in person. And then you realize something Negro.
I, right. I think those two got along so well. I kind of want to give you some point. I do think Cole is about the culture. I do think he is until he's not. You know what I'm saying? Until he loves hip hop. I think, you know what I'm saying? It saved his life. I think it got him out of whatever situations that he was in. But he's half white. And not only that, he was raised by a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And same with Drake. They both were raised by white women. And I don't want to make it, well, I am going to make a racial thing. We got black men out here being raised by black women, right? And I don't necessarily think that they end up in the right areas just because now you're just being raised by a woman, right? I think just being raised by a woman as a man slides you into the wrong spot, to me. If you're not raised by a two household or have a man in, a male figure in your life. I could be wrong. We can argue that later on. But then being raised by a white woman and then entering into a predominantly black culture, right? There are certain things that this white, it might not necessarily be wrong on that side of the fence, right? But you come over here with that BS, you're going to get looked at side eye. You know what I'm saying? You might get your teeth knocked out. Because that Karen stuff that Drake is doing or that backtracking that J. Cole is doing, you can't do that. Either you are about it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not, we're going to love you for not being that or for just being authentically you. Like Kendrick said, Drake, you want to sing and dance, do that. We love that. But when you try to come over here to this side, we don't believe that, bro. That ain't you. J. Cole, you said for the longest, you've been killing it too. You the greatest. I'll take out anybody step to me. You catching these hands, all your hands and feet. Soon as somebody who was on equal or maybe better came and stepped to you and brought it to you, you did step up to the plate. I give you that. You swung. And then you said, you know what? Maybe I need to back out of it. Now, I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason, but that to me lets me know that you are not ready. Because it, no matter what, I put Drake over J. Cole because at least Drake stayed the course, right? Drake stayed the course. He was miscalculating. His strategy was I don't know who was coaching him, but he stayed the course.
Right.
J. Cole, you bowed out, you know what I'm saying? And it just showed me that everything that you said, or all the verses that I heard you, that I was like, oh, Cole killed this verse. Oh, ain't nobody seeing Cole. I got to go back and revisit that and be like, I don't know. Can I trust Cole? You know what I'm saying? When Cole comes back with whatever album he comes out with, it better be in the battle rap. It better be no gun bars better be in there. Because you ain't shooting or killing shit.
None.
You know what I'm saying? None.
You should be talking about only thing I want to hear about you is peace, love, and hair grease. Yep. My dreads, I'm gonna stop free forming my dreads and get them right. And something like that. Just something like that. But I wanted to come back and say that because I sat back and I thought about it and I was like, yeah. And to go back to your point, and I will tell people this is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Women teach the culture. So it depends on the mother that you were raised with as to what culture that you come from. And because you can look at it. Look at the biracial women who were raised by Black women versus being raised by white women. Mm-hmm. There is a total difference. Now, am I saying that they don't have any differences and quirks? No, I'm not saying that. But again, there's certain things because you were raised within a certain culture. So there's certain context clues and different things like that. Now, I will say this, even in the diaspora, though we have things similar, we are raised in different ways. Nothing can be more prevalent is when Candace Owens was on the Breakfast Club and they said God is good. And she couldn't finish the phrase. And people would I remember somebody said, well, what if you weren't raised, Christian or anything like that? I said, even so, I said, if you are a Black American person, raised in a Black American person, you have listen, I've got relatives that are Muslim. I've got relatives that are Christian. I've got relatives that don't go to church, that, they are of the church of the bottle. We've got all these different types of things, but culturally, we are similar.
Right. Just you'll still be in it. You're still, even, I'm not, I'm not even religious like that, but I know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what a typical probably Baptist Black family, cousins, friends, plus ones and stuff like that. Right. And when they get into the groups and start talking, so you would be very cognizant of that. So I totally agree with you saying.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. So what do you think about we've had a year of Kendrick dropping new music, and we've had a year of Drake dropping some new music, a little hard drive, and then that got taken back. We had Wagwan Delilah. So tell me what you're thinking about the music that each one of these young men have dropped.
I mean, we're still feeling Kendrick. I think what was so nice with this battle is it started the kids to look at lyricism and to read, right? To go back and want to understand what they're listening to, because for so long, and me being a rapper myself, I hated just, I'm just here for the vibe. I'm just here for the vibe. And you don't even know that this dude is over here confessing how many murders he done did and all this other stuff. But you just here for the vibe, though. And you say, I'm just here for the vibe. Like, no, it is a certain art form that should be respected. At least I believe, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go to the museum and look at the paint and be like, I'm just here for the vibe. No, this dude took his time and effort to do the paint strokes. And I used this color palette for a reason. I put my feelings into this painting. So now Kendrick has made it to where people are listening. Tyler, the Creator, people are listening to what they're saying. Doechii, right. People are listening. They're going on these tiny desks, right, and they are glued in, listening, breaking. You get YouTubers now doing lyric breakdown videos. That is, I grew up reading a source, hip hop quotable in the back of the source. You be like, whoa, who got hip hop quotable this month? and you would recite that, and you would learn that hip hop quotable. Who had the Jada Kiss, Inspector Deck from Triumph, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's to me, it brought those things, that element back, which is, and I just love that element. Drake has just had a lot of missteps, and I don't know if it's the fight with the label, if it's a label fight situation, if it's he got caught off guard because he just didn't think Kendrick was him, and which I don't. Kendrick has been saying he's him forever now, and not only that, been calling Drake out for a long time. So I don't know. I just don't understand Drake's camp. Drake, how he just overlooked Kendrick and said, you know what, I got these couple bars for Kendrick, but I'm gonna aim at Rick Ross. I'm gonna aim at Future. I'm at, like, why did you take on people who ain't even that when you got this killer right here? You know what I'm saying?
Because you looked at Kendrick like a golden retriever, and not realizing that, as far as because people look at pit bulls as if they're the worst types of dogs, the pit bull, the Rottweilers, and all that other stuff, and everyone cozies up to the golden retriever when the golden retriever is the dog that has the most bites, that will bite a child, that will do things. They're
Yeah.
nice, they're cuddly, they're all those things. I'm not telling you that's not what they are. But golden retrievers will bite, and you underestimated that golden retriever
Yeah.
and that golden retriever's bite, because you pushed that golden retriever in a corner, and you thought, oh, I'm just going to put my hand here and he's just going to sniff it and lick it. And plus, you were trying to sun him. You figured,
Yeah.
because again, Drake had a machine behind him, like Nicki did. And you
Yep.
thought, because of that machine, you were better. You mean you had the writers writing for you, you had the machine behind you, you were that person that and I'm going to talk about it later, but you were that person that they were looking for to take over the genre of hip hop.
Mm.
And so you thought, because of all of that, you were just going to go over here. He's a West Coast rapper. I'm over here in Atlanta. I got the people in New York, running behind, co-signing me. Kendrick is just a little West Coast, little quote unquote, little gangster, the little 5'7" thing. You went through those types of things, and forgot this is a Pulitzer Prize winning
There you go.
artist. You
Yep.
forgot that he is lyrically sound. When you go back, Mad Kid, good, what is it? Mad, because I
Good
always
kid.
mess it.
Yeah.
Good
Good
Kid,
kid,
Mad
Mad
City.
City.
Even with Damn, that whole thing, you underestimated that. You thought, and plus the fact, because Kendrick is one of those people that is in his art form, he doesn't have to come out every year with a record. He has
Mm-hmm.
quality music, not quantity of music. Drake has quantity of music. Does Drake have some good music? Absolutely. You would be silly to believe not so, because he's had some little duddies and ditties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, you're talking about someone who lives, breathes, thinks, sleeps this genre of music. And he
Right.
studied you. He told you. If you listen to Euphoria, you should have known. I'm gonna put Family Matters out and be through with it. Take Dave Free and Whitney out the verses. Take them out of there. We'll let that go how it go, and then end it. You knew this. You knew this. People were telling Drake, "Don't talk about that man's family. Don't talk about," because you had already tried to take his idols, the people who he looked up to in this game, with Tupac and Snoop, who is another
Snoop.
flippy floppity
Mm-hmm.
type individual anyway. But you took those two people and put them on that tailor-made freestyle and tried to make it seem like they were trying to bait him come out, bait Kendrick out. And you did that. You baited him out. He came out, and he came out swinging. So, that's all I'm gonna say is,
Nah, you to me, you hit it. You hit it on the head. He just under. Was it an underestimation, or was it just he just, like you said, little boy? Like, man, I ain't worth it. Like you said, he from the West Coast. He ain't got no bops like I got. Yada yada yada. Like, man,
and
this
that was
dude.
the
Oh,
insidious stuff, because everything, if you listen, because when I listened to all the people who were the Drake stands who were reviewing the songs and stuff like that. And particularly when 616 came out. I ain't never
Hmm.
heard anybody, just the goalpost, how the goalpost kept pushing. It was like, oh, well, he did a diss track and he used that slumber music. A diss track is supposed to have something that you can dance to, that you can bop to. And I was like, okay, y'all keep pushing this man. You're not talking about somebody that takes a week. Literally, that man listened to Family Matters, and then the next day, well, I think he already had Meet the Grams on deck, because I
Yeah, I
think
think
he
you had
knew
that
about.
queued up.
But the next day, you turn around with Not Like Us.
Yeah. See, Drake thought that he had the people. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm Drake. I got the people. Yeah, and he didn't learn from Push. Like Push was Drake lost to Push because of the culture. Yet again, it was the
Right.
culture. Right now, it wasn't as big as a cultural push as what Kendrick did, but it was the culture. Drake didn't learn from that. Hey, it's something different on this side. It's something different when you're authentic. When you really do this, when you really come from what we come from, and you do this, it's something different. The people, they know what's real and what's fake. Yeah, they're gonna dance and do all that shit because it's danceable music and drums and rhythms is hypnotic anyway. So yeah, but when it comes down to the eyes is on you, it's him versus him. Oh, the culture gonna talk every time. And Kendrick knew that. Hey, look, man, you think that I'm not as good or as great as you. It's just you drop every year. I don't have to drop every year. I come out, get my 10 Grammys, go back home. You know what I'm saying? I can, and I don't even know why they act like that's a bad thing. If you can just drop every album and damn they get a Grammy, numb or leave with 3 or 4 Grammys every time you drop an album. Pulitzer Prize. I'm pulling 3, 4, 5 platinums every album. I still got an album that's my first album is still on the Billboard charts. One of the longest running charting albums of Drake ain't got that. So what made you think that this man was little or smaller than you? That just didn't equate to, even when this was going on and I was talking to people, they was like, oh man, Drake and Kendrick, who listens to Kendrick? And I was in my head, I'm like, what world are we on? Like Drake got y'all that brainwashed to where y'all don't remember everything's gonna be all right and damn and all of this stuff and had people, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we
Be
talking about?
humble. Exactly. And
What are
even
we talking about?
even as I pulled this up, I wanted to show this. This was the initial. If you saw this, this was the initial clue that Drake was not of the culture.
Yeah.
And this is the initial clue that there is a difference when you are raised by a black mother
Mm-hmm.
versus being raised by a white mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because a black mother would have not allowed for you to walk out that house. Even if she saw this, she'd have been telling you to scrub that off the internet. This would not have been anything that you do, and you sit around and you say, oh, well, it's art. I wanted to add that a black mother would not raise you to believe that that was okay.
Right.
And also, if you had strong footing in the culture, no one would have been able to convince you. It's sad to know that someone was able to convince you to do this.
Yeah. With no pushback.
No pushback, none.
No pushback. Y'all, oh, it's art. It's art. And
None.
you didn't like, I don't even know what that was for. Drake, you know what I'm saying? Looked like this was around the time when he had first started with Young Money, looked like. So I don't even know what that was for. What was that, a role or something? I don't know if he
It was
ever
a set of
explained it.
photos. From what I remember, he explained it was him and a friend were doing some kind. He was trying to explain like it was some kind of living art or something like that. And he was trying. The explanation that he gave didn't even make any sense. And again,
Hmm.
if you weren't of the culture, the explanation that you were trying to give didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you claim that you're close to your father's side of the family. Your father should have been able to tell you that that was not correct, not to correct. And if your
Yeah.
father is a musician that he is, he would have known that in his history that was not good. Mm-mm.
It's him and that's the reason why him and J. Cole are so chummy. Their experiences are way more similar to each other's than Kendrick and, you know what I'm saying, them. Kendrick being dark skinned, you know, Compton, California, you know what I'm saying, actually coming, and J. Cole came from, I ain't gonna say Cole didn't come from the, you know, the bottom or nothing either, but it's a different experience. You know what I'm saying? Like being raised by a white mother versus being raised by and Kendrick had both his parents, you know, mom and father. It's a different experience. That, and I see Drake, I see J. Cole, and they do so much to try to garner that black experience, that blackness, you know. And I've seen people like that. You know, I've seen black people, 100% black, who just come from you know, an affluent side of things, try to
Right.
reach out and be street or super hard. And it's like, dog, you don't come from that. Just be you.
Just be
Either
you.
we're gonna rock with you or we not.
Yeah, and there's an authenticity of that. I think if you look at Tyler the Creator, there's an authenticity in that. I don't think Tyler came from the mean streets of Compton.
No.
However, his experiences are coming through, and that's what I'm hopeful for in 20. I hope you're enjoying the What a Year in Hip Hop 2024. Y'all please like, comment, and subscribe and share this video if you care. Peace.